Okay, round one, definitely have a keep here. We need white mana, but we get to play some 2-drops, or at least 1/2 drop, and hopefully some more. So yeah, we do need to make landfall here, but let's try and make this work, this hand. All right, got the land. That's really good news. Probably have to be willing to trade a slide runner if something is played to block it, which is fine. Yeah, I can trade, although I don't have to. And it, yeah, I guess I don't have to. I mean, the beauty is this is a pretty good time to play Reproach. Yeah, you know what? I think that's pretty reasonable. Otherwise, my other option is trading Slide Runner for Assassin, playing Predator, which is also pretty good. But if I play Reproach on Assassin, it destroys it and I get in for 3 damage, which I also think is pretty good. And I want to save Touch of the Void specifically because it can burn face. I think I'm going to preserve my Slide Runner here. Next turn now, I'm debating whether I want to play Retreat or Valakut Predator. But I'm definitely going to Reproach this Assassin, I think. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't block. I think he does, though. I think especially since he mulled, this is a better idea. There's a higher chance he can't do anything about this. And just the fact that I'm trampling over is so good. I could even hold my planes basically to just play the Predator. But that, I guess that's probably not the right move. Okay, Courier Griffin is fine. So now I'm willing to trade my Slide Runner. Let's see if we draw another land. I really wouldn't mind if we did. Let's get in for 3 again. This time I'm just willing to trade. No tradesies. Okay. So let's play Retreat or Predator. Predator's more aggressive. I think we actually play Predator here. That makes way more sense. The reason to play Predator is next turn if I draw a land, I get to go Retreat plus landfall, which is just way better. So I guess I was going to say, so I guess I shouldn't have played the land, but I don't know if that's necessarily true either. Okay, Colostra, Healer. Not a huge issue there. All right, landfall here would be great. Didn't make the landfall, unfortunately. So I think we're going to touch the Griffin, swing with the Predator. I don't want to offer the trade with the Slide Runner. So let's just get rid of the Griffin. And swing with the Predator. Okay. That's actually fine too. One card left in our opponent's hand. We have a lot more gas, but missing plays here. I guess we just play Retreat and pass. Granted, he likely is going to get some value out of Healer, but I don't think trading my Slide Runner for a Healer is just necessary. All right. Still can't hit. This is really awkward. If I can hit that 5th land, I'm a pretty happy camper. Okay. So now we just really need the 5th land, and then we can do some cool stuff. All right, hit the land. So I think we're just going to make... Yeah, we're going to make a 1/1, and I'm going to swing. And I can Royal's Retribution if I have to. But I want to get another dude out there because he's an ally pretty specifically, but... If opponent's got Lithomancer's Focus, I'm in some trouble, but I'm not going to play around it. Taking it is pretty fantastic news for us, too. Now we can follow up with an Angelic Captain. Kind of a Royal's Retribution telegraph there, to be sure. Five open mana, swing with a 3/2 into a 4/5. Oh man, that's a hell of a mythic to have. Unfortunately, we didn't pick up any Felidar Cubs either. Stasis Snare and Quarantine Field, though. If we had any Felidar Cubs, we could really mess up our opponent's deck bad. I think I'm okay with him taking the retreat, by the way. I think that's fine. Definitely taking 4 here. If we rip a land, we get to do Ondu Rising, which would be great. Okay, that's actually really good news. Now opponent's going to have a harder time racing as well. That's actually good news too. So I think we play the land. And we'll just swing with these two. Otherwise, if I just swing with the ally, I still think he can... Well, might be an argument for it, but I'd rather not push that if I don't have to. Yeah, that's a really nice draw, actually, so... Opponent's just dead because of trample. All right. So, opponent's got a good deck. Quarantine Field and Stasis Snare. Both good in our colors. We got past the Planar Outburst, though, so I guess we got... Opponent must have been... I believe... Well, we got this pack 2. Is that right? I believe it was pack 2. Which means our opponent was likely close on the right side of us. But that also would explain why we didn't get these sick cards. Pack 1, or where I imagine they were. I mean, opponent clearly had to open Quarantine Field. I guess not necessarily, but unless it was like pack 3 or something. So, black-white allies, but we don't know what the green's for yet. Converge, likely. In terms of sideboards, we don't have much. Opponent doesn't have a ton of removal, though, from what we saw, besides the Quarantine Field and Stasis Snare. But that's probably enough where we don't want to bring in... We don't want to bring in, like, you know, pump effects or something, like Warpaint or something like that, or Angelic. Well, Angelic Gift, I guess, is actually a little more justifiable. But I think we're actually fine the way we are. I think this is fine. Undo Rising even played well for us there. So I'm willing to try this. I'm pretty happy. We actually hated pretty important cards from our opponent's deck, so we definitely hurt their build by just hating these late. I think we're pretty much fine. Okay, game 2, we're definitely keeping this. This is a nice hand. We get to go Slide Runner into Predator again, and we have a removal spell. Wow. We get to curve out really well here. This is another card that our opponent's deck clearly wanted. Fortified Rampart. Makes sense. So I could get rid of the Rampart now, actually, with the Gideon's Reproach. Guess I'm not in a big hurry to do that just yet. Rampart's not that intimidating. I think we'll just play the Slide Runner and pass. I'd rather save my removal spells for things that are actual threats rather than things that just block well. Opponent's off black mana. Okay. That's good to know. So, it's got Stasis Snare mana up, so I'm still not going to kill the Rampart. I think it's just in our best interest to get the Predator down. No land play. All right, we definitely are going to want to punish here. So let's just, we don't get a landfall. I'm not going to play Reproach. We're just going to play Castigator. If he's got the Stasis Snare, yeah, I'm fine with that. Now we don't. In fact, I'm not even sure if that was necessarily the wisest idea to play it there, but maybe. I mean, now I could still Reproach if I wanted, but we're going to play the Castigator instead. Took out the Trampler too, which I find pretty interesting. I mean, it feels like now it's just in our best interest to hold these removal spells for actual threats that need killing. Can only Quarantine Field for 1, which is not good enough. All right. So, Griffin, not really worried about the Griffin. Yeah, it's pretty good. Let's see how our opponent blocks. Still want to save the Touch of the Void. I'll Reproach a Griffin, though, for sure. So the Rampart definitely protected some damage there. But we have 3 attackers to our opponent's 1 blocker, and we're pushing damage through, and we're making big plays. And Angelic Captain is fantastic right now with our 2 allies. It's going to swing for 6, which is just huge. So the play now, I can play the Angelic Captain. Am I willing to trade a Castigator for a Lookout? It's a reasonable question, especially since I want to get the Captain online. I could just nuke the Cliffside Lookout, swing with team. He takes 4, which I don't love either. I think playing the Captain here is, I mean, it forces a removal spell. So we're just going to offer the Castigator trade with the Lookout, which I think I'm fine with that. So let's play the land so we can play the Captain. I just think getting the Captain down is really important here. It just pushes through so much damage, regardless of the Castigator trade. And who knows, maybe my opponent gets really greedy and wants to preserve the Lookout for defensive plays, like making this a 2-2 and this a 1-7. All right, offering Castigator trade with Lookout. Following up with Captain. And passing. No play. Probably a grip full of black cards, I imagine. Royal's Retribution, too. It's pretty nice. We're just going to swing in. Follow up with Griffin. All right, Smite's pretty good there. So I guess I can now play Royal's Retribution if I want, but I mean, that makes the landfall plays better. I'm trying to think what he saw game 1 that justified Smite the Monstrous. I honestly... Oh, yeah. Valga Predator, it's on board right now. That makes sense. So I could play Royal's Retribution. I can also play Courier Griffin. I think I'm actually just going to play the Griffin because I'm still pushing damage through. Like, I just don't care enough about Rampart. Granted, ramparts prevented a bunch of damage to him, but we're still dealing damage, and we're still progressing our board, and we're forcing our opponent to have removal. And our removal spells are infinitely more valuable since, like I said, we're still pushing damage through past the blocker, regardless of the fact that he's preventing damage. We're still pushing damage through, and we have 2 removal spells in hand. Okay, I'm going to hold the land this time. And we're going to do an end of combat Royal's Retribution. Because it's really of the utmost importance that it resolves and kills our opponent's dude. So, I guess we don't have to do it at end of combat, do we? Okay, opponent's got a grip full of removal too, but we're actually going to bust the Royal's Retribution this time. Wait, how come it didn't stop on? Okay, well, didn't do what I wanted to do, but that's okay. Still a chance we get a better Royal's Retribution now. But yeah, that's not what I wanted to do. I thought, I guess I just skipped past the damage step. I don't know how exactly I did that, but I did. Maybe it's because, I see, it's only on my opponent's turn. I don't know what I did wrong. I probably just did not set up my... It's funny because I have like infinite stops up, but I hate it when I make that mistake. My opponent just got angry and conceded anyway, so I'm okay with that. We were going to make some landfalls for a while, get some dudes. We had removal spells. We were still looking good. It was just, I think the optimal play at that point would have been to smoke the fortified rampart, since follow up with a landfall play, we get in for 6, and then we would have finished him the next turn with Touch of the Void. So, okay. Ended up stealing match 1. Opponent was off black the whole game. Still managed to kill 3 of our guys, which is pretty impressive, and hold us back relatively well too. So let's see how our aggressive red-white landfall ally deck does in round 2.